Welcome to the Journey 2020. I'm Charles Morris, where we come to you every Monday right here at www.thejourney2020.com. We're on Twitter, Periscope, and Facebook. So we ask for a favor. Simply subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button on Facebook. We appreciate that here at the Journey 2020. We've been around since 2013. And my co-host, Dr. Robinson, from Robinson and Associates, would always say the journey is from me to you and from you to me, so we can reach a high level. And that's what we try to do right here on the Journey 2020. And we try to have some fun stuff, then we get a little serious, then we get a little lighthearted, but we appreciate you joining us in the comments and questions and so on and so forth. If you've been watching the Journey 2020, you know on the third Monday of every month, we have the one and the only Dr. Kathy Meeks, and she's joining us today. But on the fourth Monday as well, we either will have Haki Nkrumah from Young Fathers of Central Florida, and I always encourage everyone to please do a little research when it comes to Young Fathers of Central Florida because of the great work that they do here in the Central Florida area. And I think Haki has one of the most important programs. There's many programs that are around that does a lot of great work, but I could be a little biased in the sense that I think with what he does and his passion and the spirit that he has to really go about his calling to try to make a difference and have the heart and the understanding of these young men and not judging them, but trying to help them understand and take on their responsibilities as young fathers and helping them with the mothers and so on and so forth. Not only changing lives, but I love it when people are changing generations. And that's what Young Fathers of Central Florida does. So you check them out. And also, if Haki is not around, then you have to look for our life coach. She is Regina Johnson, and she helps us with our finances and a few other things. And we have some interesting conversations as well. And so that brings us up to today. And so I want to bring in my guest who comes in the third Monday of every month. And we have a lot of fun and talking and so on and so forth. And it's the one and the only. It is our own Dr. Kathy Meeks. And how are you, Miss Meeks, Dr. Meeks? What's happening in
I
your
am
world?
doing wonderful,
Yeah, so
having lots of fun, making lots of impacting lives every day, and just trying to make a difference,
well
changing
that
lives one person at a time. That's what's
well
happening.
that you do. I'm still waiting on your book. I'm certain that there's a
Oh,
great book in there somewhere with some. We don't have to. We what they say. We change the names to protect the innocent.
something like that.
And so I just think that there's a book out there somewhere in all these years of you doing what you're doing, and not only as a not as a gossip, but just to try to help us out. So, what you think about that?
You're right. There's a book there somewhere.
Eh? So,
Not giving a date yet, and you know you will be in it.
well, for the people out there who don't know who you are, won't you catch us up and let people know that you are from Robinson and Associates, and what do you do?
Yes, I am a marriage and family therapist at Robertson and Associates, and I am a sex therapist. And so many people are confused. They keep wondering, what does a sex therapist do? Are they having sex with the clients? No. What we do, you'd be
Are you sure?
amazed.
Are you sure? Wait a minute. No, no,
No.
no, no, no. Have well, not to go into that, but in your profession, have you found there's been cases they found that there were some that was taking advantage of those situations?
I've heard of some,
Hmm.
um, but those people are no longer practicing. So,
Right, right.
so we who need to keep our license, we do not do that. What we try to do, we try to help people experience the best sex lives that they want. We help
Okay,
with the sexual dysfunctions and teach them how to achieve intimacy.
okay. Can can I ask you a personal question then?
A personal question.
Yeah, yeah. I want to ask you a personal question.
Oh, yeah, go ahead and ask. That doesn't mean I'm going to answer, but go ahead and ask.
Somehow or another, I knew that was going to be your reply, which is fair. You mean you don't have to answer the question, but I'm going to ask you a question.
Mhm.
Have you ever had a client that kind of turned your eye a little bit? You was kind of like, you kind of fine.
You know something? Yes, I've had, I'm not blind and I'm
Well,
not dead.
no, honestly, no,
Of
no, no. Actually,
course.
no, no, no. I asked the question because I already knew the answer. I just want to see if you was going to be honest. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I see clients all the time that I think, they're attractive, they're hot, they're sexy, but I'm a professional, so it's not going to go beyond that.
Well, I wasn't saying that it was going to. I was just
No, no,
asking.
no, but I just want to clarify. I
I
just
just
want to
wanted to see if
clarify.
you was gonna be honest with it. That's all. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I said, I
I
knew the
see
answer to the
men
question.
listen. I think that's a fair question. And I think when people lie and say, oh, no, I've never seen anybody that I don't think is attractive, I think they're lying to themselves and they're lying to other people. Of course, we're going to see people who we think are attractive, who we think are hot, but it doesn't mean that we want to go to bed with them or we're going to cross those boundaries. We understand that we have to be ethical, we have to be professional. So outside of the eye candy we look, that's about it.
Oh,
We're not
I
going to
mean,
act
I
on
get
it.
that. I mean, it's just natural. That's just the way. Well, it's funny because we had that conversation before. Because when I was telling you about you can be sitting in the movies. I don't know if you remember me telling you about how we can be sitting in the movies and the men sitting there watching Wonder Woman. Remember that? No. And then
No.
the guys, he's sitting there and he may be fantasizing about Wonder Woman or whoever he sees on the screen, even though he's sitting next to his wife. You don't remember that conversation? That's okay.
We've
But
had so many conversations.
yeah. But my point that I was trying to make was just because you're married, it doesn't take away from being a human being. And we talked about how sometimes, a lot of times, people have this perception or whatever, the immaturity to think just because we're together, then all of a sudden I'm supposed to stop being a human being and what
I
God
know.
made me, because it's impossible to
Silly.
do. You can't, I mean, I can control my actions, but the fact that if somebody walks in the room, if I'm attracted to them and they stimulate me, I don't have any control over that. That's just human nature. That's life. But how I respond to it makes all the difference in the world. And so
Exactly. How
we've
you
had that
respond.
conversation on numerous occasions. So yeah.
Yes, we've
So
had that conversation. Yes, we have.
right. So actually, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do two things at once. Okay. All right. So there's a couple of things that I want to talk about today. And one of them is, in addition to what I talked about earlier, but I want to ask you about myths. And myths are such that there are a lot of them when it comes to how we look at sex and our perception of sex. True? Right?
Yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Right. So in your therapy and in what you do, what are some of the myths that you deal with? Like, what are some of the myths that you deal with that's common?
Some of the myths that I deal with.
Well, what I'm saying is like, okay, well, let me ask you this right here. When it comes to a myth, I heard,
Yeah.
and I don't know if this is true or not, but is it true? Is it common that a woman after a certain age, let me see, how can I phrase this? May, let me see, how can I say this, Kathy? Something to do with having her vagina scraped. She may need to have it scraped.
Well, as the body ages, as we get older, our body ages.
Right?
And one of the things that is very common with older women is vaginal dryness.
Okay.
So, and when there is dryness, it's not impossible, it's difficult to have sex.
Okay.
So, we do recommend using, lubricants to help. Also,
No, I mean,
you're,
but
you're
I'm
looking
saying
puzzled.
no. I was talking about there was a myth that in certain situations, which there's a procedure that takes place where she can go get it scraped. I don't know what I'm saying. That's a myth that I heard years ago. Just
Yeah,
stuff that's
that's a
out there. I
myth.
don't know.
There's no need for that. I mean, sometimes there are problems with the pelvic floor where you have to go to a gynecologist to fix things so that it works to tighten the vaginal walls. And, whatever is needed, those things can be done
Okay. Well,
so
when
that
I
they
was
feel
talking
like a
about the
virgin again.
well, let's talk about the myth. Is bigger better?
Is bigger, better.
Yeah.
You mean
And
a
I mean
bigger
that's
penis?
it
What do you
is
mean?
that a
Bigger
common myth?
vagina, bigger penis? Bigger is not necessarily better. I think you got to know how to use it.
Okay.
Some people, so many people get caught up, and with size. And they think that the man's penis has got to be, several inches. They got to have a lot of girth to enjoy sex. That's not necessarily true. The reality is when that penis is erect, when there is blood flow, it really does expand. And if you know how to use it, you're going to have a satisfying sexual experience. Now through childbirth and things like that, the vagina, the vaginal wall can get a little loose. That's why we recommend that women do exercises and men, and that can really tighten the vagina. Or of course you can do surgery, but bigger is not necessarily better, especially for men. I think it's so ridiculous, that women think that the men's man. The reality is, if that penis is really too big and it's hitting the cervical walls, that sex can be very uncomfortable. It's how you use it. What? You
I'm
got to know how to
laughing.
use it.
You want to know why I'm laughing?
Why?
Because there's so many things running through my head when you're saying what you're saying. Because, like for an example, I was trying to explain something to someone because it's so funny how we are, we as men, and how we're different we are, and how we
Hmm.
identify ourselves when it comes to our manhood. Because a lot of women don't understand, can't relate to what that is, and you're not supposed to. It's better when you understand it, and understand the differences between us. But a lot of times women don't understand how our penis is tied to our identity, and how we feel about
Hmm.
ourselves, and who we when we look in the mirror. I think that as you get older, you mature, but we grow we're brought up in a society where you have to unlearn so many things because a lot of a man identity is through his penis. For like for an example, for some men, their identity could be through their money, and for some it could be both. Like for Donald Trump, he only sees the world through his penis and his money. That's his only vision. It's either going to be about his penis or it's going to be about his money. So, and and the only reason that he's that way is because it has always worked for him. So now I'm not going to get into that, but
Please don't.
no, 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 no. No, 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 no. I give you a perfect example of what I mean. And we've talked about this before. I give you a perfect example of what I mean. Real short. The little cute little Playboy bunny that was in the news with him. That was his girlfriend on the side that was in the news with the other with the porn star. They was
Stormy
both.
something another. You
No,
mean
no, no, not the porn
Stormy?
star. The other one, the little Playboy bunny, the little cute one, McDougal or something like that. I think it was
Oh,
McDougal or
okay.
something like that, right?
I thought McDougal was Clinton.
No, 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 no.
I don't
This it
know.
was the little cute one. She's cute, cute little girl. She was a Playboy bunny, right?
Okay.
Okay, so they
Okay.
did the interview with her. Now, this is what I mean by the penis of the money. She met Donald Trump, right? She knew Donald Trump was married. The night of the day that she met Donald Trump, she slept with him the same night. Now, okay, but as a man,
Can this be substantiated? How are we getting this information? Can it be substantiated?
no, 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 no. She was on the news. I mean, she was telling the story herself.
Oh, okay.
Okay, no, no, she's telling the story herself. But my
Oh,
point
okay.
that I'm trying to say is she knew who Donald Trump was. She knew of his money. And so because of the money, somehow or another, she thought with her beauty and who she was, that she was going to change this man into whatever she thought it was going to be. But in reality, it wasn't about that. It was about the money. Because I'm pretty sure that if I had went and knocked on her door and said, hey, come on, let's go out on a date tonight, I doubt very seriously she would have gone out with me. But if she had gone out with me, I doubt very seriously she would have slept with me that night because I don't have no money. But what I'm saying is that she knew that Donald Trump was married. So with that being said, it was the thing of the money. And I'm just using Donald Trump as an example because there's situations like that every day in the sense of the mindset of, and I think that also goes back to the other previous show that we did. Do women think what they have between their legs can change a man? And it all kind of ties in together because people like Donald Trump, and we talked about some of these athletes who have a lot of money, who's always out in the spotlight, they see them coming. They in every city, on every block, every day. So they're used to that. So whoever in their face thinking that I can sway him for whatever reason, and they sitting there, and I told you the mindset, they already know, they see you coming. So they're used to you. And I say you, those that think that, well, I have him in front of me, somehow or another, I'm going to change the nature of this man and make him whatever it is, because whatever I have, and I look so cute and I smell so good and all this other stuff that has nothing to do with the reality of, okay, I know what you are. I've seen you a million times. I see you every day. So just like the lady, the beautiful lady that was with Donald Trump, and she carried on this relationship, and she said, well, I knew that he loved me, but he wasn't going to leave his wife. She was this thing that he had that he probably did care about her, but there was nothing new on the sun. But that's okay. That's not what I really wanted to ask you about, But my whole point of it is when
But
it comes.
you were saying that because you wanted to make a point. What was the point you were trying to make? Because I
Well,
don't think it's just Donald Trump who has an issue there. It's
no,
also the fact that this woman's worth and value is money, and because Donald Trump had money, she was willing, she did not know her worth as a person.
right. But
So it's
but
not about
now,
Donald Trump.
but let me ask you this right here. With what you just said, Kathy, because you just said something very important. How often in your sessions that you find that frame of mind in a lot of women? Or their perception of their self-worth is tied into something that doesn't value their self-worth? How
Very
often,
often.
I mean, is that
Very
something
often.
that's very common in your practice?
Yes, it's very common. Well, I wouldn't say very common. It is fairly common for people to ascribe their self worth to money and power. They make it about that. That's what they value, and that's on both sides for men too.
Well, yeah, well, that's what I was saying. I was saying a lot of women don't. Remember, we were talking about the penis, and I was just saying how a lot of women don't understand how we see ourselves through our penis and why we do what we do, because a lot of times it's either going to see that's what led up to the conversation. It's either going to be the penis or the money. So I'm saying that's how we got into the conversation because men feel
So if they
feel
have a
empowered.
small penis,
They see they feel empowered either through their money or through their penis. So-
so for the man who has a small penis, he's thinking that he's not worth much, and his self confidence is a little low.
but see, let me say this right here. Some men who may not have that in the sense of like what may have a small or like could be like short, they try to make up for it in other ways. Like for an example, he may not have a large penis, but he
Sometimes.
but he may have a lot of money. I mean, you see what I'm saying? So he try to balance that. You know what I'm saying? It's
So
because I mean he got to find something to feed the ego. So especially if I'm dealing with a woman, because I'm gonna say this, and I hope that I can say this right, and I don't think I'm gonna say it right, but I have talked to some friends of mine over the years, and after talking to them about their relationship and their man or their husband, when you listen and when they really got depth into the conversations, Kathy, you found a person, I'm talking about the male, that was angry a lot of times. And when they described how inefficient he was in the bedroom, and I think that it was conveyed in that way from her, not purposely, was just because whatever it was that he just wasn't good at. And so this person was angry all the time. His personality was that he was just always mad and I'm talking more in one or two situations, but the scenarios were the same because of how he was trying as a man identifying himself. And then when I look at the person that I'm with, okay, because you're not a woman, so when you're my woman and the feedback that I get about who I am as a man and how I go about my day and how I live my life flows through your eyes and coming back at me. So if it's a constant something that is making me feel less than a man because of what I'm what you're conveying to me is that this over here is not working. He's angry. He's frustrated. And he doesn't know what to do on how to fix it. I mean, am I making sense?
Yes. But you know something? I think as adults, we have to take responsibility for our own lives. So if let's say a man, let's say there is a couple and the wife is accusing the man of not being a good lover, being unable to satisfy her. What do you think the man should do? He should go see a sex therapist
Right, I got
because the
that.
sex therapist can guide him. And well, what he needs to do, he needs to bring his wife in as well. And then they can be taught some things so that they can have a satisfying life. So instead of being angry, do something about it.
But in your practice, don't you find that a lot of times people don't know? Well, like a lot of times pride can get in the way, ego can get in the way.
Yes, that's true. That's true. What I find though, I
Right.
find more and more people, although I think maybe more and more people are coming to
But
me,
but that
with
but
relationship
I don't mean to cut you off,
issues.
but that's why you want to do the show based on what we're talking about right now. That's why you said
Yeah.
you think this right here, what we're doing right now, is so important because of what you run into and what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, because, and what I find though, especially my church brothers and my church sisters, they come in and they are a little bit bashful. They don't want to talk about their sex life. So they come in under the guise of having some other issues. And then after several sessions, they just slowly, kind of slip it in. And then I know how to ask the questions. And then I can guide them, teach them some things about sexuality, how they can have, a more satisfying sex life. So I think it goes back to what I'm saying is if the man or the woman is not being fulfilled in the bedroom, they have a responsibility because they have heard people talking about lights going off and how great sex can be. And it is, it's a wonderful thing. So, do the research. What can I do to enhance my sex life? There are things that can be done. And it has nothing to do with the size of the penis necessarily.
I can well,
I'm just putting that out there.
y- I I started to open a door, but I won't open that door. But that's okay.
Oh, I think you should throw it wide open. I think you should just slide it wide open and let just walk in there.
Well, there's something that I wanted to talk to you about but before I bring it in, do you run into in your sessions? Do you run into those that are in fear for whatever reason? They're,
Oh yeah.
so what is it that they
Yeah.
usually are, afraid of, Kathy?
I tell you what, I'll be honest with you. When people are coming into me, they are apprehensive because they don't know what to expect. My job is to put them at ease. So even if they come in fearful, by the second session, towards the end of the first session, the second session, once in a while, you may have those people it takes a little bit longer to develop that rapport. But my goal is to put them at ease. So whatever it is, they are struggling with, they are comfortable in talking to me. That's why I don't use titles. I try to meet people where they are and to put them at ease. Hey, I'm here for you. Because, this is not just a job for me, it's a ministry. I think sex is a gift that God has given to us to be enjoyed. Our relationships are we're relational beings. So to me, it's not just a job, it's a ministry, it's my purpose. So when that person comes in to see me, it doesn't matter how timid, how fearful, how hostile they are. My goal is to put them at ease. And I'm going to do that.
Is it common, Kathy? Is it a common thing for a couple to be uncomfortable with each other?
Of course. Of course. If you have families, if they're family of origin, especially women, if they have a background where they were taught that sex is only supposed to be about bringing children into the world and it's not something to be enjoyed, they are inhibited. They get married and they're inhibited. They don't know what to do. Some of them don't even feel comfortable touching their own bodies because it's forbidden, it's seen as a sin.
Wow. So,
So, prior to marriage, they would not explore their own bodies and feel comfortable. So, okay, they're married now. What do? You have two naked people lying next to each other and they don't know what to do.
wow. Well, I mean, again, I don't know if you remember it. I told you that I took the sexual behavior class, and when I was in college, and they went over all these things that you're talking about, and it's kind of mind-boggling. I mean, it really is, because you can be so naive to some of the simple things that's an everyday
Mhm.
occurrence, that when you go like, and then when you look at the percentages and the numbers of people that you have no idea live in this world, because we all live in our little bubble, in our little circle. And it's it's funny because I can remember the first time I went into a little toy shop, right? I went into a toy shop, and when I was walking around and I saw some of the things that I was in there going like, what the heck you do with that? And I'm looking at it and it'd be like, whoa. And it opens, not that it's a good thing or a bad thing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it took me out of my little box that I had been in, never had been outside my
Mhm.
box, good or bad or indifferent. But now I'm looking at stuff, and I'm looking over here and I'm looking over there, and I'm looking at this, and I'm like, what the, because it's a whole different world, you know, and you're trying to
Yeah.
figure out like, man, really?
Yeah.
it, it,
But it's funny that you say that you walked into into one of those stores and you saw those things, because I find that you have so many men who are totally clueless about a woman's body, how to satisfy her, because they think that, the penis is erect and I need to just put it in the woman's vagina. They don't even wait to see if the woman is stimulated. And they think that they're doing something. So they quickly get in there, or they try, if somebody told them that the clitoris is a great organ, and it's exciting, it makes the woman excited, and they try to find the clitoris, and they, oh Lord, I'm doing something. They know absolutely nothing about foreplay. So yes, they're able to enter the woman, they're able to you know perform for a few minutes, and they ejaculate, and the woman is lying in the bed and she's mad as heck because she has never had an orgasm, and he just selfishly went on and he just ejaculated and he thought that he did something. And even though I do believe that women must take responsibility for their own happiness, But come on, don't be so selfish. Try to make sure that the woman is stimulated. Try to do things so it can be mutually satisfying.
Right. Yeah. It's yeah. When I was able to step outside my little box and I was in there and it wasn't. I mean, I got used to going there. I mean, I mean, if I walk into one now, I wouldn't be like overwhelmed like I was the first couple of times that I did. So it's
So, what did you
because
buy?
I'm
What were
much
you going
older
there
now.
to
This was back
get?
when I was young. I was young. I was like 20 years old, or so on and so forth. But and what's funny is, and I'll say this like this: what's and you will know this when I say this. What's funny is the different people with the different personalities, because there's certain women that you could have toys with, and certain women be like, "Better get that thing away from me."
That's true. True.
So it's just
That's true.
it's just funny. And then there's others be like, that's all you got.
Mhm.
So, and then usually the ones that are get away from are the ones that are more conservative, who I would say didn't know their bodies or was uncomfortable touching their bodies, and those type of
Mhm.
things. True. That was, I mean, that's my
Mhm.
experience. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. The woman has got to be comfortable with her own body, because if she's not comfortable with her own body, how is she going to guide the man?
mm.
You got to know, first of all, what feels good to you. And you've got to be able to help him, guide him, what he needs to do. Everybody's body is different.
Well, for people out there that don't know, that this is our sex therapist. This is the one and our true Miss Kathy Meeks, where she comes to us on the third Monday of every month. She's helping us to enlighten ourselves, to better get to know ourselves, and to be more joyful for ourselves. And maybe all we need is ourselves. I don't know. Be like,
Sometimes that's all you got. Sometimes that's all you have. So why not?
right. Well, and again, she is a family therapist, a sex therapist, and she's with Robinsons and Associate. And Kathy, real quick before we move on, how can we get in touch with you? I mean, I keep saying I should have your number up here, but how
Yes,
how can we get in touch with you?
our office number is 407-297-1185. 297-1185. My direct number is 407-719-0610. 407-719-0610.
Okay,
You can
now,
also email me at Kathleen at kathymeeks.com.
okay, now for us, for those that are watching, I'm going to have her repeat that, so you make sure you go get your pen and your paper. So I apologize for not having it. I promise the next time I have all that information up, and we can put it up next show. But we're gonna have her repeat that in a minute. And this is Dr. Kathy Meeks from Robinson and Associates, where we do come to you every third Monday of every month, right here at the Journey 2020. And we're on Twitter, we're on Periscope, we're on Facebook. Make sure that you subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit the like button on Facebook. Really appreciate that. There's something that I wanted to address, and we kind of briefly talked about it just for a quick moment. And I just wanted your opinion on it. And for those out there, you can always hit us up with a text, comment as well. And if you also would like the information for Kathy, you can text us at that address. But what you can do right now is that the information that you can write that down as well, because you can always email us here at the Journey 2020 for questions, comments, or concern, or if you would like to get in touch with Dr. Meeks. And I don't have anything to do with it, so I don't need to know your business. You don't have to tell me your business. You can just email me and say I need her number. I don't need to know. I don't need to know. I don't need to know your business. Okay, I don't try. I'm not. I'm not trying to get to know your business. So we good on that. But I got a question for you. This is just a
Mhm.
questions of your point of view.
Mhm.
A guy talking to a girl, a man talking to a
Mhm.
woman in a discussion, and people out there, I want your opinion as well. So you give me some feedback, people. Give me some feedback. At my age, and even over the years, even when I was in my 30s and 40s, people would ask me, "Well, do you have kids?" I go, "No." "You ever been married?" "No." Okay, so right then and there, I'm kind of labeled to the point that I can kind of play with it because I'm used to it because I already know what's coming, Kathy. Majority of the time, I
Mhm.
already know what's gonna follow. When all these years I would hear, "You have no kids?" "No, I don't have any kids." "You never been married?" And I shared this with you before on one of the shows that one of the girls that I dated, this was years ago, she introduced me to a stepdad, and I was in my 40s at the time. How, yeah, was I 40? How was I? No, no, I was not 40. I was in my late 30s. No, I was 40. No, I was 40. I was 40. I was 40 years old. And so he said to me, "You gay?" And I looked at him, and I just looked at him, and I didn't say what I wanted to say, but I just started laughing to myself. I don't even think I even answered him, because I wanted to say, "You little backwards," But anyway, little country bumpkin, whatever. So, so my question that I want to ask when you're talking to someone and I'm having this conversation and they making note, and I guess they were asking me if I was a playboy, or I just like to play, or didn't have any intentions, or I made note of several relationships that I had been in, whether or not the relationship was 5 years, 6 years, and so on and so forth. And they kept making the note that they couldn't have been with me for that period of time without me marrying them, right? So, but the person had been married for twice, okay, and divorced.
Mhm.
But we both have lived our lives and we're both not married. So my question that I'm asking, how is it that I'm really any different from that person who making the note of me not being married, but they've been married twice, but they're not married? So,
But you guys are different. You've just chosen to live your lives differently. She probably gets validation from being married and she wants to have a relationship, under the context, within the context of marriage. And that's okay. That's okay for her if that's what she wants. And if you choose to say, I don't have to be married to have sex, then that's your prerogative.
but
And
but
if you choose not to have children, that's your prerogative.
right, but
You're
see
different.
that, but see, honestly, Kathy, I wouldn't even for myself, I wouldn't even bring that into it as far as the sex is concerned, because to me, that's not that's not the deciding factor for me.
Mhm.
Let me say this right here. Because of what I thought it was supposed to be, no, no, for what I think it's supposed to be and what it means to me,
Mhm.
there's been circumstances and situations that I backed away from because of my overview of whether or not it's good, bad, or indifferent. But the vows mean something. Marriage means something. It means a lot. You don't take it lightly. It's very personal. But to think that it is not a priority to me, have never been a priority to me because of your perception and because of my age. And then when I look at you, because I don't really know you and I don't know your story, but here you are, and I'm speaking in general. I may make reference to the persons who have been married twice, but yet they're single. So what I'm saying is that I don't know if it meant the same thing to them as it meant to me. I know what it's supposed to be, and I know the foundation of our existence is that, and that's what it's supposed to be. But when it sounds like you are an emotional roller coaster, and that maybe you have adapted into our culture and a time frame of what you're putting on an age and what society says in reference to you being old or young or indifferent, because that's what I'm hearing, or your inability to
Mhm.
really hear the words that are coming out of my mouth because you're too busy wanting to judge me based on what you think you know or don't know. But I'm still
Mhm.
trying to understand the difference between I'm not married, you not married, but yet you talking about me not being married. You not married. So I'm like, you not married, even though you've been married twice.
Mhm.
So, but I'm being looked at as if though I'm from another planet. So I'm looking at
But
like, well, you not married.
yeah, yeah.
Help me. Help me with
You
the
know,
mindset. Help me.
you know, I'm thinking about so many different things when it comes to this scenario, and in essence, you're right. Both of you have been in relationships, and both of you guys are similar in that you've had failed relationships. The only difference is that she married the guys, those relationships still failed, whereas you didn't. I think the reason why they're looking at you is that, part of human development is that you're supposed to go through different stages in life. So by a person gets to a certain age based on what these philosophers and psychologists and everybody say, they have a time frame, and scientists say, where the expectation is that you're going to get married, you're going to have children, and then after that you start having grandchildren and you retire and whatever. The thing is, everybody's not the same.
Well. See, Kathy, let me give you an insight on something, right? Because generally, like for an example, when people live in that box, to me, because to me the essence, like I said, in the foundation and what God expects of you, because I still say that if we were to really understand certain things about our purpose, I think God created it such that when it comes to a family and the way God created
Mhm.
it, and if you putting what you're supposed to put into your family and be who you're supposed to be to your family, He made it where there's not a lot of time to do anything else if you're doing it right. If you do what you're supposed to do and love your family and into your family the way that you're supposed to be, there's not too much time to do anything else. But we spend a lot of time doing other things that have our interest. And so therefore the foundation, to me, this is my own personal opinion, suffers because there's this other stuff that we spend time doing that we're focused on, and not as focused as we should be on a lot of things when it comes to understanding our responsibility, that there's another person that I have brought into the world now that deserve more of my attention in the things that I should be focused on making my family better, on both the husband and the wife, when it all come together, as we should focus on each other in our lives. That's my own personal opinion. But it's just, amazing to me that I'm being labeled as if though the marriage is not as important to me as it is to them, which is not true, because I think it's the most important thing in the world. There's nothing more important than that, and being a parent, being a parent. So it's just funny how people in their perception, based on what they think they see, and not the reality of the fact that they haven't walked in my shoes. And the other part of it too is they always ask, well, haven't there been somebody? Well, for the people who were, there were things that I walked away from purposely because of different reasons. It's not because I didn't want to. It's just that like for an example, when I think back, Kathy, on some of the people that I dated or some of the people that I could have had children from, I have to go knock on wood, be like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Lord.
Thank you. Luke. Oh, oh my goodness.
You
Thank
dodged the
you.
bullet. Yeah. But you know something, Charles? What do you care what people say? Marriage is not for everybody. And wasn't it Paul who said that, it's better sometimes not to marry, and serve the Lord, because he was talking to women. Because when you have a husband, you have to be dedicated to the husband. The same thing would apply to the man. If you marry, you have to dedicate the time to your wife and children. So,
Well,
I
that's
mean,
what I
what
just
do you care?
said.
Everybody's different,
Well,
you know,
but
and,
but
but
but that
there's
was my
an,
point of what I was trying to say and how God made it, because he made it that if you do what you're supposed to do and end how you're supposed to be in, there ain't much time to do all this other stuff that causes our world to be what it is what I was trying to say. Because if we
yeah,
was focused on what we
yeah,
really supposed to be focused on, and in the family and the
exactly.
foundation, there's a lot of stuff that you wouldn't even be over there. You wouldn't be doing this stuff. Your your name wouldn't be associated with that. You wouldn't have a child over there, and all this other stuff. So that's what I meant by that.
You know what I think? People spend too much time watching other people's lives instead of focusing on their own life and accomplishing their purpose. Because everyone, I mean, we all have something that is pre work that God has predestined for us to do. And sometimes when you focus on that job or that purpose, there is no time for marriage. And that is okay. That's a choice. On the other side of the spectrum, I just want to throw this out there. You also have some people who, for whatever reason, they have attachment issues and they have difficulty forming successful interpersonal relationships. And as a result, they don't get married because they're looking for this thing and it's not there. They're looking for perfection, or just based on trauma from childhood or whatever, those attachment, those abandonment issues or attachment issues. It makes it very difficult for them to really successfully attach to a person in a way that it leads to marriage. So there's that out there as well. So there are two sides that we need to look at. You have people with issues, and once those things are resolved, then they can successfully bond with someone and marriage can take place. And then you have the other people who are busy accomplishing the purpose for which they were created, and marriage is not a necessity to them. And that is okay.
Well, yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, I truly get that, and that's easy to understand. But there are a lot of people that on a emotional roller coaster, and to be honest, Kathy, I'm not that I know anything, but a lot of times through your own life experiences, when I was talking
Mm-hmm.
about knock on wood, as you learn things in life, when you have a better picture and a better perspective of life, when you look at
Mm-hmm.
the demeanor and the spirit and how they see the world and how they see themselves, how they see you. And so
Mm-hmm.
when you go through certain things and you start to better understand certain things about life, you're very thankful that you didn't connect this way. And so when you find a certain peace and you know what to look for when it comes
Right.
to yeah, I mean, I'm serious. So you know what to look for. And so you can kind of recognize stuff right away. And it's not that there's something wrong with them, it's just not right for you.
Exactly.
and s-
Exactly.
and so you can make that choice just based on you just want peace in your life. You just want peace in your
Exactly.
life. That's all you want, just peace in your life. Because my best friend, I mean, one of my best friends is that we've been knowing each other since we were like 18, 19 years old. And so how we has transformed into what we are now is so differently than how it was when we were much younger. And so through all the things that our motive and the things that and we did things and why we did what we did and learning about life and learning about ourselves, learning about relationship. And we sit and we laugh now. We laugh at the things that we used to do. We laugh at the
Mm-hmm.
things that used to motivate us. We laugh at
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the relationships. We laugh at some of the conversations that we used to have us are when we meet certain people sometimes we come back and we say, man, I talked with this girl or something, 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 because we're laughing. And what I mean
Mm-hmm.
by that is like he's gone through a divorce. And so he really didn't or don't want to be bothered or to be in a certain type of relationship. But because of the women who like him can't understand that and don't know how to deal with him just by being a friend, they they're headache because he don't want to be bothered. And so we laugh at that. We laugh at how back in the day when opportunities and certain things and a certain mindset and these things that was the priority, it's just so nice to be able to come home and just watch ESPN.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Rather than to be bothered with this over here, where we used to say, like this right here, if a phone call, this was back in the day, Kathy. This was back in the day because we talk about this all the time. If a phone call came in at 1 o'clock in the morning, that you would have
Mm-hmm.
got on your 10 speed and went cross town by your 10 speed, you probably could have got there at 3 o'clock in the morning and you would have been fine and you would have took your 10 speed back to be back home about 8 o'clock in the morning and everything was great. But it'd be like, don't you call me no after no 10 o'clock at night. No, why you call it? No. So, well, because things have changed. Not, and then see
Yeah.
people say, no, because you're older. That's not necessarily because you're older. Your motive has changed and you understand what comes with that. Because back then you didn't understand what comes
Exactly.
with it. You was
Yeah.
used to the headaches. You had the
Mm-hmm.
patience for the headaches. Now you be like, nah, that's all right. We good. So we had that conversation all the time and we just laugh. Because people say, no, it's not that you're old because you're not able. It's just you're older and you wiser of your decisions and you realize what comes with your
Mm-hmm.
decisions. That's really what it
Right.
is. And you don't feel
Yeah.
like and you're old now, or you're older now where you really can't fake the funk anymore. It's like, why? I mean, why I gotta put
There you
myself in that
go.
situation to even tell a lie? Cause and honestly, no, I don't feel that way about you. But that's how it is.
Yeah.
So, but again, give us your information, because I told the people that they're gonna need the pencil and their paper. So for people out there, you need the pencil and the paper, because she is gonna help you. So when you do what I did, when you walk into the little toy store, you don't be going, "Oh my goodness!" Now you going like, "I want one of those. Is that on sale? If you buy two, do you get the third one free?" So yeah,
Can you
so
put me on the mailing list?
yeah,
Get
yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah,
mailing
yeah.
list too.
Put you on the mailing
Uh,
list.
yeah, yeah. Well, my you can contact me at the main office, Robertson Associates Psychological Services. That number is 407-297-1185. 407-297-1185. You can contact me directly at 407-719-0610. 407-719-0610. Or you can shoot me an email at Kathleen at kathymeeks.com.
Alrighty then. Well, we appreciate you. Where she comes to us the third Monday of every month. She enlightens us. She is gonna make the world a better place.
A
And
happier place.
there's nothing wrong with getting to know yourself.
Nothing at all.
Oh, let me ask you a quick question before we get out of here. Let me see if I can ask this right. Is it a common thing that somebody could know somebody else's body better than they know themselves?
I hear that all the time. I hear people say that. I know you better than you know yourself. I suppose it's possible, but really, that should not happen. I don't
Well,
like to use the word should.
right.
It is possible. Yes, it is possible. It is possible, but it really.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I guess to each his own. And one
Mhm.
more time, Miss Kathy, give them your information. Give them your information.
Kathy Meeks, Robertson Associate Psychological Services, 407-297-1185. 407-297-1185. Or call me directly, 407-719-0610. 407-719-0610. Or Kathleen at kathymeeks.com. That's KATHLEEN at kathymeeks.com. Kathleen with a K.
All right. Well, we certainly appreciate you and you taking the time out to come and hang out with a brother. And you know what I think would be cool is that maybe you should like, well, we'll talk about the sex thing that I mean the relationship thing that you supposed to be working on, that you're supposed to be setting up for part two. But part of
Oh,
that,
yeah.
right. But part of that, I think when you do that, I think that when you do the second one, that you should set a date for a lot of the people that attend to meet at one of the little toy stores, so we can walk around and just, I'm serious, so we can walk around and we can just kind of explore and answer questions and just enlighten ourselves to better understand and to feel more comfortable. I think that would be a good idea, Kathy.
I tell you what my plan is for the next workshop. I am actually going to have a table set up with a wide variety of toys. And we're going to have someone there to answer the questions that a person may have.
Okay. Now, my next question, that I want to ask: is it better to have regular batteries or rechargeables?
Hey, I say rechargeable. Oh boy.
Okay,
That's a good one.
I'm just see. I don't know, so I just want to ask somebody who might know the answer to the question.
Mhm.
The- so, are you saying rechargeables? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I like the yeah.
Oh, all right.
Or
Well,
have
again.
both. Heck, have both. They're not that expensive. Just have both.
Oh, all right. Well, again, the one and the only Dr. Kathy Meeks from Kathy. I was going to say from Robinson and Associates. I was going to say from Kathy Meeks and Associates, but Robinson and Associates, and she gave you her information. So if you want to contact her, again, you certainly can. And she's with us the third Monday of every month, and we really appreciate it. And you can always text us, if you would like to find out the information. And again, I don't need to know your business. I just put you in contact with her, so we good, we good like that. And this is the Journey 2020, and where we come to you every Monday at 7 p.m. at www.thejourney2020.com. We're also on Twitter, Periscope, and Facebook. So you make sure that you subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit the like button. You can hit us up on an email for any questions or concern, or maybe you would like to be on the show. And remember, the fourth Monday, we either have Hakit Nkrumah or our life coach, Regina Johnson, where she comes to you and she talk about the finances. And I always ask the question, is there any romance without finances? Well, a woman's point of view on that one right there. So with that being said, I'm Charles Morris, and I want to say thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your week.